Welcome back to the Guitar Learning Show. My name is Kevin, and today I'm going to show you how to play Hotel California in the key of B minor using mostly bar chords. And I'm also going to show you a simple trick that makes one of the hardest changes in this song feel effortless. Yes, you heard that first sentence right. I did say bar chords. And this channel is oriented towards beginners, and I know as beginners we're first taught how to play open chords, and we're told that bar chords are difficult and we should avoid bar chords as beginners. But I'm here to tell you that I think that slows you down and it slows down your progress. Because if you start to learn bar chords early, especially in a song like Hotel California, it'll help you to move around the neck more freely, faster, and everything on the neck will start to connect more for you. And let me show you what I mean. Here's the verses. Okay, and that's it. That's it for playing the verses. Yes, I took up a little more real estate than I normally would in one of my lessons on this channel. However, with the bar chords, you've already got your fingers planted, so it's just a matter of moving them over and back on the neck and maybe just down or up a string set, but that's about it. It's really not as hard as we've been made to believe, okay? So a lot of beginners struggle because they're jumping between completely different shapes. And I'm talking about the open chords. But bar chords actually make things easier because the shapes repeat. And the bar chord shape that we're using for this particular version of Hotel California is going to be what's called an E-shaped bar chord. So the chord shape is the same, whether it's going to be rooted on the low E string or the B minor, which is going to be rooted on the A string. And you probably noticed I did sneak in an open D chord there. And the open D chord just sounds really nice and full, so I personally like to play this version and throw that open D chord in instead of throwing in a D bar chord. So the verse chords, the progression is essentially B minor to F sharp to A, E, G, D, E minor, and F sharp. And I know that's a lot of chords. Usually you're starting out with songs that have just 4 different chords, sometimes maybe even 2 different chords. But for those of you that know this song, as you play the chords, you'll hear the song and it will sound good and it will make sense. So let's start by going through each individual chord. We're going to start the verse with a B minor chord, and that's rooted on the A string here on the 2nd fret. And we're going to play this E shape, as I said. And if you look at this on the screen, I have my ring and my pinky are both on the 4th fret. The ring is on the D string and the pinky is on the G. And then the middle finger is up here on the 3rd fret of the B. And then again, the index is rooted on the 2nd fret of the A string. So that's the B minor. And that, of course, is our E-shaped bar chord, which is the only shape we're going to use as far as the bar chords go. All right, so we go from the B minor, and we just take all of that and go up 1 string for each finger. And then we have an F sharp major. We just call that F sharp. And we slide this over to where the A is here on the 5th fret of the low E. For this chord change, we don't have to move between strings. So we just go to the A. And then from there, we're going to go to an E chord, which is actually an open chord, right? So this shape is the E major open chord, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So we have the ring, pinky, and middle fingers all fretting notes, but all the rest of the strings are just open. But this is where the E-shaped bar chord comes from. And in order to have the same effect as those open notes, we move this bar chord on the fretboard For instance, we were just at the A, and so instead of having the open strings, we just play the rest of them by barring our index finger across the rest of the strings. All right, so that was the A. Let's go back to the E. So at the E, we just play that, and then we're going to go to a G, which is sliding over that whole shape, and then barring all of the strings with our index. And that's our G. Now we're going to go to an open D. So here we do have to lift up our fingers, go to the open D chord, and we're going to have our index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B, and then our middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the high E. And we'll play that. And that's the open D. And then we're going to go to an open E minor. Most of the time this is taught to a beginner. You're taught to play the E minor with your middle finger and your ring finger. Middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D. But my trick for you is this. Instead of playing with the middle finger and the ring, play it with the ring and the pinky. So the ring finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the A, and the pinky is going to be on the 2nd fret of the D. Still an E minor, but now if you notice, you are set up for your E-shaped bar chord. And from that E minor, our next chord is going to be back to the F sharp. So we slide this up 2 frets, and we bring our middle finger down on the 3rd fret of the G string, and then we bar our index finger over the other strings. And that's our F sharp. And that's the verse. So let's play the verse together. We'll play 1 strum, and we'll listen for 3 beats after that strum, 4 notes to the bar, and then we'll move on to the next chord, okay? So B minor, 2, 3, 4 to F sharp, 2, 3, 4 to A, 2, 3, 4 to E, 2, 3, 4 to G, 2, 3, 4 to open D, 2, 3, 4 to E minor, open, 2, 3, 4, back to F sharp, 2, 3, 4. And those are our verses. So try not to think of the bars as separate chords because you're moving them mostly on the same string. There's one bar chord change where you go down string set. That's pretty simple because you're just going B minor to F sharp major. And even if you don't have that yet, if you just practice that really slowly, you'll get it really quickly. So some of the reasons that I like to teach bar chords early, and believe me, I didn't learn them as early as I would have liked. I learned open chords and played with the open chords and did a lot with trying to, move from a C to a big G, and it was a little bit of a challenge. I have some issues with my left hand. From an old injury, it doesn't fret quite as well. So for me, I had to find as many shortcuts as I could, and quite honestly, bar chords have been a shortcut for me. So a few things that are really great about bar chords is you're not guessing where to go. Most guitarists in the beginning learn their notes on the low E string and the A string. So if you are rooting your notes on the low E and the low A and you already know them, and you just stay with a consistent shape, it's a lot easier to know what chord you are playing. So another benefit of playing bar chords and moving just up and down the neck like that is you're not lifting your whole hand up and having to make different shapes. Now, I know I'm cheating a little bit, but we are lifting just a little to make that open D. So for the chorus, it's going to be the same idea. We're going to keep the shapes consistent. We're going to use bar chords whenever possible. And we're going to focus on just smooth transitions. So the chorus is going to be G, D, F sharp, B minor, and then G, D, E minor, F sharp. We're using some of the same chords from the verse, they're just placed a little bit differently. Let's give the chorus a shot. Start with G to D to F sharp, B minor to G to D to E minor and with that you can play a campfire version of Hotel California. As an alternative to the main chord progression I've shown you, here's just a very super easy, keep you rooted on the E string progression. So we'll start up here at the 7th fret, B minor, F sharp, A, E, G, D, E minor, F sharp. I almost tried to play a G. But that is just moving that bar chord shape on the low E string. Everything is rooted on the low E string. So that is another way to play it. And obviously that's easier than what I am showing you initially in this lesson. But that is definitely a way to play this song. And you can hear it, the chords are correct, and it sounds good. And if you were going to do the chorus that way, it would be just G to D to F sharp to B minor to G to D to E minor to F sharp. And that's that. You can definitely play all those chords rooted on the E string. So I hope this lesson has given you some new ideas for something that you've probably been told time and time again, it's just really hard for beginners, and that is the bar chords. I am orienting these types of lessons towards beginners, and I'm trying to think back to things that helped me when I first started playing, or maybe even later in my playing when I was still trying to figure more of the beginner type of guitar playing out. And just to reinforce, if you have been avoiding bar chords, this is your sign to stop avoiding them. They're not really harder, they're just different. They do take a little bit of practice to get used to the shape. However, once you learn them, it opens up many songs that are difficult to play with open chords or even with a capo. You'll be able to play more songs, and also everything on the neck is going to start to make more sense. You'll feel more comfortable moving around. You'll feel more comfortable going from G to A, up here to D even. That's all I really have for you today. Please hit the like and subscribe and ring that notification bell. And this way you'll be notified when we have new videos. And we'll be doing more of these beginner type of lessons. And hopefully they will have some tips in them that will open up something new for you. All right? If you have any questions or any comments you'd like to make, please drop them in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.